Building an API in Python is very easy with FastAPI. Unsurprisingly, FastAPI is fast, with performance on par with Node.js. FastAPI also has documentation auto-generation, so developers and users can quickly see the available routes, parameters, and responses. Here we'll build a basic FastAPI app, which grabs a recent photo of Mars from the NASA Mars Rover API and resizes it for use as a wallpaper. We'll be using photos from the Curiosity rover, which landed in 2012. With the successful landing of the Perseverance rover just a few days ago, we'll hopefully be able to access those photos in the near future as well. First, we'll specify the relevant NASA API URLs that we'll query. Manifest URL gives us basic information about the photos available from the Curiosity rover, and Photo URL allows us to access the actual photos. Here we use Python string formatting syntax for the Earth date parameter so we can pass it in later. Before we get on to the FastAPI part of the implementation, we'll define a utility function called getPhotoInfo. This function will determine the most recent day a photo was taken and the number of photos taken on that day. To do this, we query the manifest URL, which returns a JSON object that gets mapped to a Python dictionary. We access the photo manifest, followed by the photo information. Our photos variable is now a list where each element is a dictionary corresponding to the information about the photos taken on a given Earth day. Since this list is in chronological order and we want the most recent days, we'll reverse the list. Now we want to find the most recent day on which photos from the Curiosity's mast camera are available. Photos from the mast camera are higher resolution and most suitable for making wallpapers. We loop over the photos list, check that mast is listed as one of the cameras, and set the latest photo date if so. We'll then query the photo URL indicating the latest photo date we just found and setting the number of photos available. Now that we have all the information we want, we'll stop iterating by calling break. Finally, we'll return latest photo date and end photos. Now we can start using FastAPI. First, we'll initialize our app. Then we'll define a function called readRoute, which will return the photo information from the getPhotoInfo function we just implemented. We'll decorate the readRoute function with app.get and specify the route as an argument. If you're unfamiliar with decorators, check out our decorators video. Now, whenever the client sends a GET HTTP request to the root route, the photo information will be sent in response. These decorators are how routes are defined in FastAPI. If instead the user was sending a post request, the decorator would be app.post instead. Now that the user can access the photo information, we'll add a route to generate the wallpaper. We'll define a makeWallpaper function and decorate it. Here, photo number is wrapped in braces to indicate a dynamic route. We can then specify photo number as an argument in the makeWallpaper function. We'll also set the type of photo number to be an integer. FastAPI performs automatic type checking, so if the user attempts to pass a non-integer photo number argument, FastAPI will throw an error. We would also like the user to be able to specify the height of the resized photo. We'll add an optional height argument, which defaults to a FastAPI query object. In this query object, we specify the default height, the greater than or equal to height, that is the minimum, and the less than or equal to height, that is the maximum. This will prevent the user from specifying an image height that could give our server trouble, such as a negative or very large height. In the browser, the height argument is passed as a query parameter, which we'll see later. Next, we'll use the getPhotoInfo function to get the photo information and use this to make sure that the user is not asking for a photo that is out of range of the available photos. If they are, we'll raise a FastAPI HTTP exception error. Finally, we'll grab the requested photo from the NASA API and open it with the PIL image object. We'll resize the photo to have the requested height. Here we assume a 16:9 aspect ratio so we can determine the photo width directly from the height. We then convert the photo to a bytes object and stream it back to the client by returning a FastAPI streaming response object. And now we're done. If we check out the API in the browser, we can see that the root route gives us information about the available photos, and the wallpaper route gives us an appropriately resized photo of interest. Also, if we go to the docs route, we can see the auto-generated documentation for the API. We've only scratched the surface of what's possible with FastAPI. The official documentation is a great place to explore further. It's important to point out that our server is not very optimized. We're having to make multiple requests to the NASA API every time we want to get a wallpaper. Ideally, we could implement a caching solution using something like Redis to significantly limit the number of requests required and improve our server's response times. Once that video is available, it'll be here. Otherwise, stay tuned. As always, if you want to know more about this pattern, you'd like to discuss it, or you'd like to write your own patterns, check out Patternite. The link is down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.